I am going to build Arcane inside a theme park Tycoon 2. The part that I'm actually going to recreate is this. This is the last drop. It's a pretty significant landmark in Arcane. It's just a bar, but it's also the home of Vi and a Jinx. And look at it. It looks so cool. We're going to give it our best. This is my reference image. Let's get to it.
I drift asleep to find you in my dreams. Tell me, is it real? 'Cause I wake up feeling like it.
I'm going to start off at the bottom and go to the top. That makes sense. Let's first of all build the wall that the door is on. Pretty interesting wall because it has two wedges just going like that on each side, making a sort of a V shape. Now I am going to need to put the borders around it, and it's not just any old borders. It's like girders going around it. So it has like this sort of shape going on. Okay, something as simple as this. And I think it's probably best to color it so it doesn't all look blue. This might be the hardest bit of this entire build, just coloring it. Because Arcane uses colors in such unique ways that it's going to be pretty difficult to try and replicate that. Now let's build the door. And the door's pretty interesting because although it is just a door, it's got the girders going around it, but it's got like a little sushi bit at the top. Okay, so that's the sort of door shape. I think that's as best as I'm gonna get it. And I need to do all the intricate details here. And as you can see, it's just a whole bunch of swirlies and shapes. That's gonna be so tricky to try and build, so I'm gonna see you in a second when I've done that. Alright, around like half an hour or so later, here we are. I want to say that this entire door is now done. You can see I've done all the intricate details on this entrance here. You can just take a look for yourself. There's so much going on here. I even tried to do like the coloring that I mentioned, the unique coloring. I really wanted to try and do some gradients, so I've done like it goes from a dark cyan to like a greeny sort of color because that's how it actually looks. And then I've also added like this thing, I don't know what it is, and then you can see that you've got the normal back wall there, which would normally be here, but it's actually not. It's sort of as if it's broken down over here, but that will lead into the roof. And overall, I'm really liking this. Now we've got to move on to the roof. And for that, it looks like a tiled roof. It's like as simple as that. So now I'm just going to color this and finish it off, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, I'm not going to lie, I forgot that I was muted. Oh, we're building this massive block thing here. My apologies. I don't know what this block thing is, but it's here, and it's actually like held on by this like guttering support system here. No idea what it is though. Okay, yeah, it's like that. I like that. Now I'm just gonna hook this up to the gutter. Okay, I think that's the best I'm gonna do. This is a very difficult shape to work with, so I'm just gonna do all the details on the guttering, this block, and anything else that I think needs doing. And I'll see you when we've done all that, when we begin working on the massive sign that will go right here. Okay, after a while, this is what it's looking like. We have the gutter right here going into this massive block here, which I think looks pretty cool. And we also have this thing right here, which I have no idea what it is, but it's there in the actual reference image, so I just built it anyway. And I also added a whole bunch of like block textures on this wall, make it look more like the actual thing. I also added a whole bunch of bolts here as well. And yeah, I'm really liking how this is looking so far. But now for the massive sign that will go here. And now one thing I don't know is that, is this sign a sign or is it part of the building? Like, is it a flat wall or is it an actual like room? I don't know. First of all, let's get in the massive circular sign right here. And it's just gonna be a big old circle in the middle, with like a yellowish ring going around it, something like that. And then it's got another big old ring going around it like so. Oh yeah, I like that actually. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is actually go all the way over here and build custom text, which is something that I never really do because I always just use the text on the theme park Tycoon workshop. The reason why I'm actually making this custom text is so I can make this text look as close as possible as the text on the actual building. So give me a second while I write out the last drop. Okay, here we are. I've written out all of the text that we're gonna need for this build, and it's of course the name of this build, the last drop, which is the name of this part, but we're actually gonna need to whack it up there. I can't just stay here forever. Okay, there we have it. The sign is not done at the moment, but the text is done. I really like how this looks, to be fair. I tried to get as close as I could to the actual reference image. Is it side by side? Let me know what you think. Some bits of the text might be a bit janky, but I tried my best. But the next thing that we need is the beer bottle in the middle and the droplet that goes right there. I doubt I'm gonna do that, so I'll see you in a second. Okay, I think I may have just low-key kind of cooked. For the droplet, I just used a sphere and a cone. Looks pretty nice. And then for the beer bottle, I just shaped out a beer bottle with just a whole bunch of primitives, mainly the cuboid and cylinder ones for the actual like foam filling over. And I just used some triangle ones for a little bit of shading. And from afar, I really like this. It's looking so sick. And what we gotta do now is actually add all like the random little lights all around it. And I don't just mean one or two lights. I mean about 50 billion lights. How am I gonna do this? Because we all know Theme Park Tycoon 2 has the absolute freaking worst lighting. It sucks. But I think there might be a few ways we could do this. The first way is, of course, just by using the neon light strips. That's the simplest way. It looks near enough identical to what we actually need to do. Or we could try and go a bit more advanced and use the same trick that I did with my Lumber Tycoon 2 tree blueprint pack, which if you don't know, for one of the trees in the pack, it glows. And the way I did that was I just grabbed a light orb and whacked it inside of a primitive. And then if I just color this red and then change it to night, it does nothing. But if I just increase the brightness and the range a bit, if we actually compare it to a normal primitive, you can see we can actually make the primitive glow. But it is very tricky when you want to do it in the scenario that we want to do it, where we have a lot of stuff around it that we don't really want to have all red, you know. But hey, I think we're gonna hop into a quick old time lapse. I'm gonna try and cook something up. If you are enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe, by the way. I'd really appreciate it. It'd mean a lot if you did. We're trying to get to 40,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Let's get it.
Don't stop. In your eyes, I see a fire lighting up as we're getting away. There's no going back, and I'm loving the taste of where you go. I follow when I'm giving up, never hitting the brakes. There's no going back, and I'm loving the chase. We're not giving up, never hitting the brakes. There's no going back, and I'm loving the chase. I can hear my every heartbeat. I can feel the blood rush through my veins. You know. Somewhere in the distance, the sun's coming up. Everything.
Okay, I have now finished the entirety of the sign, and it's now time for the grand reveal. 3, 2, 1, here we have it. I really love this. I didn't think it would turn out as good as it did. The light sticks probably feel like neon, like glow sticks that you can actually like snap. It's really cool. I just love the look of this, as well as the actual sign. In the end, I didn't go for these like light beams. I actually went for the custom light primitives, and I'm very glad I did because it allows for so much more customization by using like scaling tool and the cones. I also added a whole bunch of details just by adding a whole bunch of primitives like I did down on this wall. I also had like these pieces up here, the basalt texture to sort of like scrap metal just held on to the building. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this has turned out. But that's not the building done. We still have the entire like backside of this building, like this entire back bit right here, which is I don't know how I'm gonna do that really. Something that I have just noticed, which it would be really cool to sort of play around with, is this. The part that we have built, this part right here, is really light, and it's at the main focus of this image. And all the other buildings around it are all dark, sort of like out of focus, pushing your eye towards this, and it'd be really cool if we can try and do that. But before we build any of these buildings, I'm gonna go and quickly build these like gutterings and this like support beam right here, or just little details around. Maybe even start the basis of all the buildings that will go behind this. So I'm just gonna clap my hands like this. I did a bit more than just a few details. I just went to town, and I absolutely love how this is looking. You can see we've done like half of the back portion on this side right here. And I've really tried to put as much detail and effort as I can into this. And I'm also really trying the color thing I was talking about. Like the best example here is probably these two supports. In real life, they'd most likely be the exact same color, you know? But because I'm trying to make the back be a lot more darker than what's in the front, the support beam's brighter than that one. And doing that for the entire build really sells it, and it brings your focus right to the front, which I love. I've also added like these like massive strips of just like wires or something, I don't know, but they're actually on the actual build. We've got a whole bunch of these like gutterings on the side, even with a little bit of detail like that, like just a little bit of like smudges of color here and there. I don't know, I can't even tell you how hard it was for me to make this, simply because it's a freaking cylinder. And trying to build on a cylinder is not the easiest thing. And also you got details like this that aren't connected to anything, and that's because I ain't got a clue what goes there. My reference image is literally just from the front, and it looks basically exactly like that. And I can't see what's around the corner. So pieces like this wall right here is just a guessing game. And the other thing you can probably notice is the floor. We have an actual floor in. And once again, I'm trying out like color thing. I hope you guys know what I mean by the color thing. I have no idea what it's called. Someone let me know down below. But of course, in the shadows, we've got the darker patches of the brown. And then I tried to make this floor right here look like this building is reflecting off onto the ground. Yeah, I love this. All we gotta do now is do the rest of it. But more specifically, we have to do do the top bit that goes right here, because we're not done on the back left side. We still have this entire top piece right here, including that middle dome bit. How the freak am I gonna build that? And yeah, I'm just gonna try and cook something up, and I'll see you when I'm a fair bit into it. Not all the way done, just a fair bit into it, a little bit of a progress update. Alright, a little bit of a progress update here. As you can see, we've done half of these top 2 windows right here. I'm really liking how this is looking. Once again, I'm trying to do that like color thing, where I'm trying to like force shadows. So we've got a little bit of a highlight right here, and then of course, because there'll be like a massive dome thing here, we've got a really harsh shadow here, with a really dark color, then we're just brightening the color up all the way over to here, and then that is also a really harsh shadow right there. Then also adding the splodges of red that's on the roof, and also this that I really like, where the brightest is closest to the light, and then it goes all the way along, getting darker as it goes, to the point where when you're all the way over here, you can't even really notice it. But now all we need to do is build basically the same thing over here. Well, not exactly, there are a few differences, but let's get to it. Okay, after a long while, we've now finished basically the entire back side right here. I did say I was just going to do this top piece, but I just got a bit carried away. And I am really loving how this is all looking. And also, you might be able to notice that my hair's a different color. I've dyed it blue, even though it looks a bit like I'm graying. I'm not graying, it's just that my hair's very dark, so it's coming up as like a really dark blue. I plan on some point just bleaching my hair, then doing the dye again, so that it comes out as a proper blue. But until then, this is what it's looking like. And no, it's not because Jinx's hair is also blue. It's actually because a few weeks ago, we did a charity stream for Thankmas, and we raised $300. Thank you guys so much. And because we raised $300, I said I'd dye my hair blue. So that's why, and I now look like I'm graying out, but I'm not. I absolutely love everything that's going on here. Starting off with this window piece right here. We've of course got the roof right here. That has a lot to it, like we've got all of these outlines going around it. We've got a little swirly piece at the top. We've got some highlights in it. From afar, I really like it. Now in this window, actually, in the reference image, there's a whole bunch of like, I don't know how to put it, like crystal looking colors. Like you got some yellows, some greens, some blues, some purples, which close up, it looks a bit odd, but from afar, it sort of all blends in together and it looks real nice. And to be fair, I really like how it looks. Once again, if this was realistic, it probably wouldn't have all these colors, but because I'm trying to recreate the style of Arcane, it does. Then we just got this building down here, which has a whole bunch of details. I really like this bit of just a whole bunch of wedge pieces, all different shades and all different colors. And then over here as well, which has got like this like vent thing. Once again, using colors to try and get some shadows in and some highlights. And then this whole wall's like cracked. We've got a whole bunch of gaps in it. And yeah, this style of building is really new to me, but I am loving building in it. Now, we do not talk about the back of we don't talk about the back of this build. This build's really only meant to be seen from any of these angles. Just mainly this angle though. Yeah, anything other than that, we don't talk about it. All we need to do now is actually build this bit, the dome. Starting off with this piece right here, which looks sort of like a coffin shape for some reason, which shouldn't be too hard. Let's get cracking. Okay, that's the very basic shape of it. Absolutely no detail whatsoever. Let's build the shape of the window that will go right here. And I have a feeling that this is going to use a lot of wedges. Okay, here's the basic shape of the window. And now I'm just going to add all the little details, like all the little color primitives that will go on the wall, and all the window frames just like on this building. So I'll see you in a second when I've done that. And look at this. Just a little bit of detail can do wonders. As you can see, we've got all the frames in. We even got a little bit of shading going on. And I've got the crystallization of the windows. That's what I'm just going to call it. Where you got little colors of green, yellow, and purple up at the top. Now, all we need to do is, actually this like weird like secondary roof thing on top of this roof. Right here, it's going to be pretty tricky to try and do this. So, you know what? I'm going to see you when it's time to build a big old dome. The final piece of this build. And after we do that, I think it's all going to come together and look a lovely jubbly. I guess let's just cut to it. Okay, here we have it. I've actually did a little bit more shading and detail on this like coffin shaped window. I added like these two roof pieces, and of course the massive two funnels that go right there, which means the last thing that we have to do is the dome. And also this massive like spiky thing right here. That shouldn't be too difficult. All I gotta do is just change this bit into the same texture and color as the windows. Now we just gotta add the window frames that go around this massive dome right here, which are simply just cylinders that are gonna be copy and pasted all around this. Now just gonna add the little window frame details, which are just more window frames basically. Hold on, what is happening here? I've just finished building all of the window frames that we're gonna need. And what is happening here? Someone needs to check up on these artists because that is not a window frame. What is going on there? But what we're gonna do now is actually add all of these bits. All of the crystal bits, like these green, these purple, these yellow, these blue. Which just sort of make them look like they're sparkling. We're just gonna have a purple one right there. That's not what I meant to do. And let's have a blue one right there. Well, let's have a big old green one right here. Gotta make sure we actually paint it green. No, I keep painting the sphere. I just want to paint this primitive. There we go. Okay, there we go. It was very tricky to actually try and place all of these primitives in because it's a sphere. I think it looks pretty nice. The last thing that I gotta do is build this like pointy thing right here. It's really hard to tell what this is and where everything is placed. But I don't think it should be too difficult. So enough building, let's just finish this. And with this top piece done, that is this entire build finished. And I absolutely love this. I probably went a bit too overboard for this entire thing, and this has taken me around a week to finish. But do let me know what you think of this down below in the comments. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. It's probably not only my best, but my favorite build I've actually ever built. I absolutely love this sign. Make sure to subscribe, and yeah.